Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here, and welcome to my stamping and creating. For those of you who don't know me, I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK, and I live in a place called Wokingham, which most of you will probably not have heard of. But it's in the south of, it's sort of southwest of London, about 30 miles away. So today is a stamping and creating event. Just bear with me for one moment. I'm just checking that my this is actually going out live, and it looks like it is, so that's good. Just double checking. I think so. Right, good. Okay. So I wanted to share today an idea I had to do with the everyday detail dies. So I've used them a couple of times in recent stamping and creating events, and I've combined them with the everyday details stamp set, which you can get as part of a bundle. So you get both of them together, and you can save 10% on the total. And I've also been using them with the Flight and Airy paper. Now, I'm not going to use the Flight and Airy paper today. I thought you guys might probably need a little bit of a rest from that. And I'm going to share some other paper, which actually is in the main catalogue. But the idea I had with these dies, so this is what they look like. So you have some rectangle dies, you have some circle dies, you have little dies that cut just holes in a pattern. So this in a pattern of like 5, kind of reminds me of dice. And then you also have a crisscross pattern, like so. So this is good for creating backgrounds, a border or something like that. Similarly with these. But these dies, so in total there are 11 dies in the pack. But 2 of the dies, one of the rectangles, you will find, although it cuts, it's actually cutting a middle portion, and there are holes either side. So for the rectangles, that's the larger one. And then for the circles, you have the same again. So you find that the cutting portion is in between the 2 circles of holes. So you'll find that comes out, the inner piece comes out as a whole circle, and then the outer piece, I did actually, so this is where I cut one. So you can see, so I started off with a square, I cut it out, so then the middle portion I use, and I just saved this because I thought actually I can use this as a frame at some point. I'm not going to do that today. But what I did with this piece, and this is what gave me the idea for today, was this card. And what I did was I actually threaded some baker's twine through the holes and tied it in a knot. So this has got no glue dot or anything behind. I don't know if you can see, it's actually threaded through the holes. This started out as some white thread, and I used my Stampin' blends to colour it. So if you don't have the exact colour to match your base card or paper or whatever, you can use your Stampin' blends, or you can use re-inkers, or you can even just simply just press the thread onto your ink pad. So that was the Stampin' blends. I wasn't too sure to start off with because when it was drying it felt quite stiff, but now that it's completely dry, it's fine. And I would suggest if you, whatever you do, plan ahead and colour beforehand. This one, I thought, oh, it's blends, it will dry quite quickly. It didn't, so I've got a little bit of a mark underneath there, but hey, you can't see that. I know it's there though. So that was what gave me my idea for today. I'm if you're interested, the dies you will find, they're in two places in there. This is the new mini catalogue, and I can open it now, which is really exciting. So, as I said, the dies are designed to go with the Everyday Details bundle, stamp set even. So this is the stamp set. So this, you may recall, was what I used last week with the Flying Airy, because I cut some paper out. This is that image, and I'm actually going to use this image today. And then, so the bundle's $49.50, which means that you would get a free item from Celebration. The dies alone, if you just want the dies, are £32. This picture doesn't show the dies too well. So they are also on page 69. So I'll show you those. So here you can see in a little bit more detail. So you can see that there are dots, which are the holes. So that piece there is being cut with these two. That one there is this die. And then that one and that one are the larger and the second one down. So you start off with a square and you start off with a rectangle, and then you die cut it. So that will actually fit in there, and similarly that will fit in there. So that's the dies. Stamp set I am going to use today. And what else I'm going to use is this paper, and let's see, I have marked in here. So it's in the annual catalogue, and it's called Earthern Elegance. I liked the image of, this image, and I thought this would actually be really nice paired with the Earthern Elegance paper. I'll give you a quick peek of that. So I have to admit that there is one side of this paper that I know I will not use, and I'll leave you to guess. I'll tell you at the end. So this is pecan pie. So it's like a foliage. This is grey granite. So it's it looks like it's been sort of die cut out. It's strips of something. And I'm trying to think what it is, because it looks like there's a centre line there, but hey. We have some, I was going to say ombre, but it's not really ombre, so it starts dark, goes light, goes dark again. And I guess you could use it either way. So that, we have more foliage. So this you could cut. You could use it as a whole sheet, or you could cut it in half that way and then into panels and use as backgrounds for cards. We have this abstract, and I don't know which way these are supposed to go, whether they're supposed to go vertical or horizontal. I think vertical, because it looks like they it sort of started off and it's like paint that's run. And then we have this sort of cubed square effect with lines. And then on the reverse side, it's so that's Moody Mauve. That is, well, I think it's grey granite. It's kind of looks quite dark. It's not pecan pie, and it's not Pretty Peacock. So in here we've got Moody Mauve, Misty Moonlight. What else was there? Pecan Pie, Pebble Path, and Pretty Peacock is in there. This one, that has an ombre effect, so we've got Pretty Peacock going up to, it's not quite crumb cake, more like craft, but I think it's based on grey granite. This side is sort of a weaved effect in Misty Moonlight. You can kind of see that there is a design on there. It's not just a series of splodges. The reverse side of that one is a pretty peacock, and then the reverse side of this is Misty Moonlight. And I have to be honest, that's the one that I know that I will not use, which is fine because I like the other side, so I know that will get use. Okay, so that was the paper I'm intending to use, one of them. So that was the card that inspired me. So we have a circle with the holes on, and I used a piece of white baker's twine, which I coloured, just threaded through and tied into a bow. And then this is what I made earlier. So this is what I'm going to use as a focal point. I'll show you how I made it. I'm not going to sit there and colour everything, but I will, pardon me, run through how I did this. It did mean that I had to go and find some needles. And luckily I do have a sewing box. I think the last sewing I ever did would have been sewing the name labels on my kids' school uniforms, and that's many years ago. But I did go into my sewing box, and lo and behold, I found some of these yarn darners. Never used them as that, but I found that I can actually thread the, this is black baker's twine, which comes in a pack like this. So you have the black, you grey granite, very vanilla white, and then that's more, I don't know, that actually doesn't actually say what colour it is. I say kind of more crumb cake. So it comes as a pack of 5 like that. So that's this one, and that one there is what I used for the other one, which I had coloured. So that's what I'm going to use today, but I will show you how I made it. Now, because I can't decide whether or not I need to use very vanilla or basic white with this paper, I had initially thought that I would use this, but I think it might be just a little bit too busy behind there, and that's not really suitable. So my second thought was to use this one, because I think that ties in quite nicely with the flower. So that's my plan. I'm going to use that. Whisper Why, I am not sure whether it's going to look a bit too stark, but I'm going to go with it. So that's what I'm going to use to stamp on. And because I'm colouring with Stampin' blends, I will need to use the Tuxedo Black ink because that's water-based and the blends are alcohol-based, and when you're using blends you want to use an ink for stamping that is opposite to what your colouring medium is. So if you're colouring with watercolour pencils or Stampin' Write markers, then you would actually want to use StazOn to stamp your image. If, as I said, you're stamping, if you're colouring, sorry, with Stampin' blends, then you would want to use the Tuxedo. Now, I'm not going to use a full piece of cardstock. I have my trusty scrap paper. So I'm going to simply, as I said, use the memento. Stamp all over, make sure you haven't got anything on the edges, which I can see I have. I'm just going to take that off. And then you want to stamp. So this is going to be cut out the whole image. So I want to kind of put it in this bit of, in the middle of this scrap piece. There we go. Oops, sorry, I do have a little border there, but we'll pretend we can't see that. And then I need to find my die. So this is the die that I'm going to use. So it's the one that has the cutting line, the rectangle in the middle. So you've got two sets of dots. Now that will what you'd want to put that sort of in the middle of that. So let me get my. I probably could use my mini machine, but I've actually only got my large one here. I didn't think to bring the mini one over, but hey. So I'm going to put that on there, and I need to stand up for this because I cannot see sitting down. And I also need a post-it note because I just realised that I don't have any washi tape here. So I've got a post-it note which I'm going to use. Let's see, you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm going to use a post-it note to fix this onto here so that it doesn't move when I cut things out. So I'm just going to cut that out. Oops. That's the only thing with these. Sometimes they make a lot of noise. So I could keep, and in fact I think I will, I'll have to trim this down, and I could keep that and use it as a border on something else. So I could then use a smaller frame. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to not throw that away or put it in the recycling. That I need, you will need to, some of these times you need to take out the dots. So that's the one thing you will find, is that you'll find that your floor is absolutely covered in dots. But hey, so that's that. And then we have this. Right, okay, colouring. So I used for this, where did I put it? Typical, there it is. So I used copper clay for the jar. I used Pretty Peacock for the leaves, and I just used the light one. I used Misty Moonlight for the little flowers there that you can see, and then Moody Mauve for the larger flower. So the larger flower and these little three here, you just simply want to use the lighter one. Personally, I like to use the light first and then the dark. So you want to colour this and work a bit at a time, so I don't go mad doing everything to start off with. So, and the nice thing about the stamp is that you can see where you should be putting the darker colour. So that's that. And then I'm going to go over again with the lighter, which will darken it, but it will blend in that really dark portion so that you'll just have a darker piece in the middle. This will lighten up as it dries, not much. These ones I'm just going to do all at the same time. But it was, as I said, it will lighten up. I'm not too worried if I don't go completely to the edge of the image. Sometimes the colour will travel anyway. But when you go over it for the second time, you'll find that not only are you blending in that darker colour, but you're catching any of the bits that you didn't catch the first time around. And it just means that those portions will also show up slightly lighter again, so you don't actually have to get a colour lifter out. I mean, I wouldn't use a colour lifter on these anyway, because quite frankly they're such small images. These little flowers, I just simply did them as round flowers, so I used the lighter ones like so, and then I literally put a small dot in the middle. I just use the fine tip or the finer tip, put that in the middle of each flower. Leaves were simply Pretty Peacock, but this is just the light. I didn't go over it with the dark. You can do, there's nothing to say what's right or wrong when it comes to colouring. It's whatever your personal choice, what you prefer to do. So that was that. So that's the leaves, and then the pot, as I said, just copper clay. And again, literally went all over with the light. Like so. I didn't worry about doing the stems and things. And then I went over with the dark just to highlight the band along here, the inside, and then this band at the bottom. And that was just simply how I coloured that. Now when it comes to sewing, it's up to you where you start. Now I originally thought if I start here and then take it around and then finish there, then I could tie a bow. Didn't work on this because of the way the number of holes there are. So if you look on the reverse side of this, it's actually got a knot on the back, and then I simply added the bow using a glue dot. You will need to make sure that you have enough to go all the way around, and it depends on what's in here. I started here and then, well, she started here and then went that way, but could actually go in that side and then just simply, it is just literally going in and up and down, making sure you go through every single hole. So this will give a slightly different look. I don't think most people will actually realise, they'll just see the black lines. And as I said, I'm not going to go do the whole thing, so that took me like 10 minutes to do that. So you can either have it sort of so it looks like that. So on this one you've got the black here rather than there. I will finish it, but later. So that was how, when you literally get in and up and down through all the holes, tied it off at the back, and then, as I said, tied a bow, added that with a glue dot, and then so that was that finished. Now I do have this that I could use. So, and I think I might do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down with, actually I'm going to use my little mini guillotine. That was a celebration special a while back. This thing comes in handy. It just means I don't have to get the full. It assumes that my starting point was actually had straight lines and not ones that were slightly off. So let's just hope. Okay, so there's my, so I've got a frame, so that was what was left from that one that I did a minute ago. Whether I decide to use it in a minute is another matter, but hey. So this is my paper I'm going to use. We've got this. And then the question is what colour cardstock. So I think I'm going to use Moody Mauve for the base card. So I have a sheet of that. And I'm going to use some Lost Lagoon for the mat. So let's cut a base card. Base card, for those of you in the UK, is simply an A4 sheet cut in half. If you want a landscape card, you would cut it at 10.5. Oh, what happened? That's really weird because it's saying that my video has ended on my laptop, but I know it hasn't because it says it's still live. So let me just see what's going on. Bear with me for a moment. It's just weird. Oh. Okay, it's just live. It's saying it's live. Hey. Okay, right. Let's hopefully it stays live. Anyway, yes, so I digress. So if you want a landscape card, you would cut on the short side at 10.5. I want to make a portrait card, so I'm going to cut on the long side at 14.9, which is basically half of that long length. Or as near as you can get. It's actually 14.85 to be, if you want to be really precise. 14.9 will do. And then moving the dark, so the darker grey blade here is the cutting blade, and then the lighter grade is the scoring blade. So again, this time I want to score. So I'm going to put it at 10.5 so that I end up with a standard sized card base. I'm going to put a layer of Pretty Peacock on. I like to put my layers so that they are 0.5 centimetre shorter and narrower. So this is 10.5 by 14.9. So that means I want to make it 10 by 14.4. And the reason I'm so precise is that I don't really want to waste cardstock. So that's that. And then the paper, so we've already got 10, so now we're going down to 9.5. Make sure it's lined up top and bottom so that I know that what I'm cutting is straight. So I want it to be 9.5 by 13.9. So that's all of that cut. So base card, Moody Mauve Base Card, Pretty Peacock layer, paper, and then I can add that, or I can add that, and then that. I think I'm going to do this one without, actually. If I put that on there, that on there, you could actually even sort of do that and that. Oh, that's actually quite different. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, right, glue. So I'm going to use wet glue just so that I have some wiggle room to move things around. First off, I'm going to glue the paper to the pretty Peacock card panel. That's going to go there like that. Got time to move it around to make sure that it's sort of central. I've got equal top, bottom, left and right. So that can then go on there. That's going to go on my card front, like so. So have you all worked out which celebration item you like the most yet? I haven't decided. I was going to say I don't actually need too much glue on this because it's not going to hold anything. So I really just want to put it in strategic places, like corners. Corners are a must, you don't want loose corners. But other than that, really, so long as the corners are held. So I'm going to put that there so that I've got an equal border, in theory, at the top and to the left, like so. And then I'm going to put that then in that corner like that. So, but this one I'm not going to actually glue on, I'm going to use some dimensionals. I don't need little ones, I just need normal size ones. I'm just going to put one in each corner. If you're not convinced that that will not come undone, you can, of course, well, one thing to do is just simply put another little bit of dimensional on it. So if you just get a piece from the edge is all that you need. Or if you've got some tear tape handy, which I don't, you could equally just use that. But if I put that on there, that will hold those pieces down and they will not then come undone. So I'm just going to remove the backs like so. So again, this time I want the right and the bottom to be equal. So that's my card. And then I need to put something on the inside. Now, and the other question is, do I need a sentiment? And if so, where am I going to put it? So the sentiments that I've got here. Overjoyed. You make every day a little brighter. Wishing you so much joy on this special day. Now I could. I don't think any of them will actually fit in any of those spaces, so I'm going to leave it Could put a sentiment across here, but I don't have one to hand, so let's just quickly cut a piece of basic white so that I can put that on the inside, and I will put some of that paper as well on the inside. So as I said, have you decided what's your favourite from Celebration yet, or what's your favourite from the new mini catalogue? So I need a piece that is going to be 10 by 14.4. There's so much that I like. That it's crazy. I don't want to go too mad. But hey. So with Celebration this year, there's the three choices you had on how to earn some free stuff. You can shop, and each £45 earns you a free item from the Celebration catalogue. You can join, which is a really good deal, and you have two options. You can choose £160 worth of items from current catalogues, online exclusives, kits collection, even the clearance rack if that's what you really want. So you can order £160 worth and pay £99, and those items will ship to you for free. The alternative is you choose £130 worth of product, and you receive the Stampin' Glass Matte Studio. Now, I don't have one of those, so sadly I can't show you. There are links on my blog to a video that shows you what it's all about, but basically it's a fairly substantial glass mat that has both inches and centimetres on it. It comes with a few other extras, and you can add that to your kit. As I said, you're £130 worth. No, yes, £130 worth of product. And again, that's £99, and it ships to you for free. And then the third option is to host an event. Now, it does not have to be an in-person event. It could just simply that you want, you have some crafting friends who want some stuff. So I will give you a host code, and you can all just use that host code, and then you get any Stampin' rewards once the total comes to £150. And there's some extra Stampin' rewards available once it comes to a higher amount. So if you're interested in any of those, please get in touch. You can email me or send me a direct message on Facebook. It's up to you, and I would love to help you whatever way you do. People say to me, oh, if I become a demonstrator, does that mean I have to demonstrate? And the answer is no. Most of my team are what I call happy shoppers, and they simply shop for themselves, and sometimes some of their family wants to buy one or two bits, but really that's it. So anyway, so there's no requirement to actually demonstrate or to sell. There is a requirement if you want to stay beyond, let's see, well, where are we now? We are in January. So January, February, March, April, May, June. So if you want to stay beyond 30th of June, then you would have had to have spent about £276 in those 6 months. And then that means you can stay for another quarter. But anyway, so that's the card that I created today. That was the card that, as I said, I created the other day. So just using the holes. So this is where I've actually stitched all the way around. This one is where I've just simply used the holes to tie the bow. This was white baker's twine, and I used my Stampin' Blends to colour it. You can use your ink pads, and you can use your re-inkers as well. So there's all sorts of ways that you can get your twine to actually match and coordinate with your paper. So I could have done this with Moody Mauve, but I had the black to hand, so I thought actually it's quite a bold contrast. Could even do it in Pretty Peacock. That would actually have been quite nice. Maybe I'll do the other one in Pretty Peacock, and I will post pictures of that at a later date. I do need to finish this off because I just realised it's not very sparkly. There's no bling on it. So there is bling on that. You probably can't see it very well, but the flower is blinged with Wink of Stella. So I'm just going to use some clear Wink of Stella. I think this actually needs to be squeezed so that I can get some more out. Don't want to squeeze it too hard, so I don't want it running everywhere. There we go, that's that. And then maybe I'll put some rhinestones on. Let's see, what have I got? Oh, I could even put a butterfly on. Oh, that would be a devil. Golden rhinestones. I know I've got some open rhinestones. You know, when you've got all these bits and pieces. Dear me. Oh, actually, you know what? I've got some in colour dots. So I think I'll use those because the copper clay and the Moody Mauve are in colours. So if I can use, I think I might use some copper clay. I'll use a mixture of different sizes, I think. Would help to have picked that one up, but hey. I always tell people not to think about it and just to go for it and just put them on. Because otherwise, if you start thinking about it, you can never make up your mind where you want, and then when you do put it down, you don't like it. So anyway, so that's my card for today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I've done with the dies. So these are the Everyday Detail dies, and the image comes from the Everyday Detail stamp set, and together they make the Everyday Detail bundle. So you can shop online with me at oakvillcrafts.stampinupnet, and I will see you next week. Next week is actually the first of our card and a cuppers for 2024. So it will be virtual card a cuppa next week, but I'll still be here at 2:30. So hope you get to pop in then, and if not, then it will go up, but it will be posted on Facebook, and it'll also go up onto YouTube. So take care, have a good week, and I hope you can join me next week. Bye.